Of the Regulatory Committee, I have a script here to read out. I record that we're conducting this meeting under COVID-19 level 1, which has allowed our members, as they're able, to meet together in the council chamber once again. It's really great. Although I do record we have some members joining by meeting and Zoom today as well. They're reminding everybody that all councillors are connected via Zoom and this meeting is being live streamed, so the wider public are able to watch us. Welcome everybody and thank you for joining us. Now I'll call for any apologies for this meeting, please. So Councillor Beard is on Zoom and Aurora will be on Zoom as well.
Councillor Guyton's on his way in.
Sorry?
Councillor Guyton's on his way in.
Okay.
Physically, because he can't.
Physically on his way in, good, thank you. Going through the agenda, declarations of interest. I understand there is one this morning.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a statement. I can't read my own writing because this thing in the way. I was made aware on Friday the 15th of June that a complaint had been made about some cows near a river on my property. This has been investigated by Environment South and I've decided to stand aside from my role on this Regulatory Committee until investigation has been completed, and I will be making no more further comment about this matter while the investigation is underway.
Thank you, Lloyd.
I'll be now leaving the meeting.
Thank you. Public forums, petitions and deputations. Confirmation of minutes of a meeting on the 13th of November 2019, which is a long time ago now. Somebody who was present at that meeting, please indicate that that's a true and correct record.
I'll move.
Thank you, Chairman Horrell.
Zoom.
Yeah, my Zoom just cut out.
That's right, Councillor Stevens, thank you.
Said no internet.
Are there any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? It's carried, thank you. I'll sign those minutes. Now the next set of minutes is relating to the meeting on the Wednesday, the 18th of March at 1 p.m. That was our last time when we physically met together for a meeting. Would somebody who was present at that meeting like to move that that was a true and correct record? We had 3 councillors via Zoom. So Councillor McCallum, Councillor Stevens was there.
I'll move.
Thank you, David.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not recorded as either being present or been by Zoom or apology. One of those things would have been the case, but I can't remember.
I'm sorry, I can't either, Lloyd.
Well, maybe if I could be recorded as an apology for that.
Okay.
This is the, yeah.
So I'll second Councillor Stevens' motion that was a true and correct record. Now, subject to that amendment showing that Councillor Esler may or may not have been present.
I am an apology.
Put him in as an apology.
Second, in the paragraph after that, I mentioned as an apology.
Are you? Thank you. So all in favour of the motion that be a true and correct record, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? It's carried. We're moving on to the business of today. Extraordinary urgent business. Extraordinary urgent business is none that I'm aware of.
Technology.
Back in the day.
Are there any supplementary reports? Any questions? Chairman and councillors' reports. There's nothing from the chairman, just that the chairman has had you back in your presence. So item 9, General Manager of Policy Planning and Regulatory Services report.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will pass over to Aurora, who is zooming in to do this presentation. Aurora, hopefully the technology works, and welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, councillors. I'm joining today from Christchurch. So just to start, I will take my report as read. Over the reporting period, we had 100 applications lodged. Of these applications, there were 3 late decisions, making our timeframe compliance 97%. So this is trending upwards from the previous reporting period. Of the applications processed during this time, the vast majority of them were processed by the internal team. Of course, over the reporting period, we have had the consents team working from home during lockdown, where BAU of processing of applications was largely delivered uninterrupted. The only thing that was interrupted for our work program was obviously the holding of publicly notified hearings during that time. Those hearings were postponed and are now being rescheduled and are back on track with progressing on those. Other thing to note is our processing of our 2 large aquaculture applications is still ongoing. Both of these applications are currently sitting on hold, waiting for the applicants to provide further information to us. Something to note with these applications is that Otago Regional Council have also received large applications in their region. And with the upcoming fast-tracking legislation from central government, this may change the way that these applications are handled. However, no decisions have been made on that yet. They are still sitting, being processed with us and on hold for further information as any other applications that we process are handled. So that's a summary from me. Now, take any questions.
Thanks, Aurora. Do you have questions, Councillor Farrell?
Yeah, just wondering in regards to the dams permitted activities. Just if there has been any, or has there been, or how many activity, or how many consents have been issued under that dam permitted activity, or if there has been any.
So no DPAs have been applied for or granted. However, we've had quite a number of inquiries regarding those, and the would-be applicants decided to wait to see if they could get the stock off farm, in which case they were able to. So a good outcome all round there. There is still a number who are considering the options to whether they go down that track or not.
So basically everybody's running under their usual consents. We're all happy.
Yeah, or meeting the permitted activity criteria, yeah.
I think that's a very good question. I was concerned about that. Right, Jim Hall.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just following on from that, I know the initial report did identify a reasonably small number that we did think probably would need to do something. I wonder whether now may be a proactive time to actually approach them if we're not getting too much uptake. The sheep situation has improved quicker than we expected, so there's a lot of people who will be down to their normal stock numbers by now, and quite understandably they won't have to do anything, but I'm assuming we will still have those who don't have a consent to winter on, others who may have cattle numbers that are going to be there for most of the winter. So it's been a great initiative, and congratulations to Aurora and the team that worked with industry to come up with a pragmatic solution to to a problem, but if we're not actually getting people applying, maybe we need to be a bit more pragmatic about the small group that we know that may have to do something just to be compliant.
Sure.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Just to note on that matter, we have been working with industry who have been proactively approaching the people that we thought may be affected by this. So they have had contact through their industry representatives, and we are working with them.
Jeremy.
I can just add to that, obviously, the situation we're processing stock, and it's certainly you're up to absolute maximum capacity now with the beef side of things. And I think it's going to clear reasonably. But certainly the numbers are moving now, so it's good to, if it takes June to do it, you take a bit of pressure off the system.
So do we have any further commentary or questions in relation to this item, please? Checking on the Zoom to make sure there's nobody's waving their hand at me. Right, thank you. The recommendation is the council resolve to note the activity and performance of the consents division.
Happy to move, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman Horrell, seconded by Councillor Major. Thank you. Any further commentary? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? It is carried. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
Item 2 is the Environmental Compliance Division report. Compliance Manager Simon Mapp. Good morning, Simon. Welcome.
Councillors, morning, Mr. Chair. Just a report from the compliance activities. I'm sure you've read the document. Basically, 33 discharge permit inspections were completed. That's down in numbers on an extreme front, mostly due to the flooding and COVID-19 events, and obviously that has impacted all of our work. Although we were deemed an essential business, and we carried on doing as many incidents as we could. There was a level of complication around that in the fact that we had to ensure safety of officers and have 2 officers attend most incidents, and to do that they had to drive 2 cars to the incident location. Industry inspections continued, and as you can see there, we did 365 consent condition orders, and we had 2 meetings with consent holders. 159 incidents were received during that time, and you can see how they're broken down. Obviously, the major one, as always at this time of year, is air problems, and that can be made up of both smoke, dust, or odour. So, 3 major ones. Obviously, odour and dust can be intermittent and extremely hard to prove once the officers are on the ground. Obviously, there would be an extended period of time for the officers to get on site due to the COVID restrictions. So that didn't work in our favour either. That said, we'll move to the compliance work plan that we completed for the 1920 work year. And we have we are developing the intensive winter grazing app. That's currently being hopefully rolled out this week. The app is ready to go, and we need to thank Ingrid and Andrew from our IT team that brought that through. We changed from iAuditor to Survey 123, and that gives us a lot more connectivity with the GIS system. And from there, we can use that app to actually look at where high risk might be, and then we can work with our industry partners to actually assist prior to the intensive winter grazing commencing. Unfortunately, due to complications and being held back a wee bit, should I say, the app would have proved its worth if we'd been able to get it out a couple of months ago, but unfortunately we've got it out now. It is a pilot program. We want to understand exactly what we've got down on that app and if it's fit for purpose. Priority 2, discharges from domestic burning. The work ongoing identifying areas of high risk, and that's using a GIS program to look at areas of vulnerable communities with high incidence and airshed locations. So we've done what's known in the GIS world as a heat map, and that shows us basically in a kind of different array of colours where our biggest problems are. Our issue going forward with this is just how can we supplying the resources to actually work under the air and achieve what we want to achieve on that. Priority 3, responding to incidents, as I mentioned before, the COVID-19 was there, and we had a triage program, and I've attached that to the end of the report. Obviously, that became more complicated with COVID-19, and it slowed down some of our responses to some of those incidents. Remembering, if we are triaging incidents, as much as we can coax information out of the complainant, it is entirely dependent on the amount of information the complainant gives us, locations, etc., as to how effective we can be. So quite often, if somebody says there's a something somewhere, obviously we can't be as effective as if they give us a lot of information, including locations and such like. And in the triage event, we aim to actually get to the high priority incidents as soon as possible. So if there's a discharge of a contaminant into a waterway, we want to be there as soon as possible, as if there's an odour, etc. However, if we get scant information, it's pretty hard to actually prioritise that as an urgency, no matter how much we're trying to get information from the complainant. So we continued that through the lockdown period, and then water quantity. So we are starting work on the consented small water takes. We're looking at the larger water takes and creating programs around them. Priority 5 is reducing impacts on coastal areas. Again, it is probably one of our lower risk areas, and we are trying to get there as we can, but again, we're affected by the fact of the amount of work that we have and just the staff numbers that we have. I suppose we have emerging issues at the moment, and that is landfills and clean fills. Now we're working with comms to give this information out. Many landowners are falling foul of the rules and consent by just having a hole somewhere on their property and deciding that there's a big piece of dirt over there and we'll just move that to their property. There's lots of issues around whether that's clean fill, whether that's landfill, etc. So we're working with comms on giving some information about that, much like the information that I've attached on the compliance incidents that's at the end of this, and also just a letter out to the people that are contracted to do hedge clipping, etc. Also of note, and I'll mention it now, though fuller report and judges' sentencing notes will come out in the next report, were the 2 court cases that we had. Fern Leah Farms and Mr. Carpenter both appeared before the district court, and over a series of charges, including discharges to the environment and breaches of abatement notice, they received a fine of $103,150. And Southern Centre Dairies were appeared before the district court for a discharge of contaminant to the environment, and they received a $30,000 fine, including court costs of $130. So, as I said before, that more information will be provided, including the judge's notes at the next regulatory meeting. Happy to take questions.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just before we go into the questions, councillors, we're getting an increasing number of media requests for information about investigations. If there is an incident and it's under investigation, we do not provide specifics to the media around that investigation. We have a standard response in accordance with the Crown Prosecution Guidelines, saying the incident is being investigated, and we will provide no specific information about that investigation. Once the investigation is completed, then the situation changes. But you may see in the media from time to time that council staff have not provided any information to support the media in their investigation. That is standard practice to ensure that the investigation will be carried out independently, professionally, and following all Crown Prosecution Guidelines.
Thank you. Councillor Esler.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a couple of questions. In the last week or two, I've seen a lot of fires. There's been big piles of natural carpet debris. People have been taking out trees. Is that permissible, or is it only in the urban area where you're not allowed to burn from the 1st of May?
So it's so without having the rules in front of me, I can give you a synopsis. Basically, in the airshed, you're not allowed to burn. You can burn, and there is stipulation about what you can burn, how much you can burn, and where that raw product or that macrocarbon should be derived from. I can't give you the specifics because I don't have that in front of me, but it's included in the air.
Because it's obviously just green stuff, and there's been a bit of a smoke haze in the last week or two. The other question was about dust. In what circumstances would dust warrant a complaint? Is that a dusty road or quarrying or something like that?
So dusty roads come under the territorial city district councils purview, whereas if there's an industry with dust, well then if that is nuisance dust to a neighbour, for instance, then that is something.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Councillor McFarlane.
Yeah, I'm just going to inquire about winter grazing now. Is it able to be done? Is it an active weed that you can use?
So we're working with the ACE group on this. However, if you wanted to download the app, I'm sure I'm not 100% sure, but can I share the screen? Is that okay?
Okay.
I'm going to. Let's see if this if this works. No, okay. I don't know if it is working.
It's just about to.
Change.
Just as long as we
Change
get
the-
access to wireless.
Yeah. Okay, well, my phone's playing up. As much as I'd love to say that my technology is and my capabilities are beyond reproach, I would suggest that it's not working at the moment. So, apart from that, yes, you can. All we need is your name and your email address. We'll get that.
So could I ask?
Stop sharing the screen.
Yeah, just this report's up to the 22nd of May. Is the level of reported incidents continuing since then up till now?
So they're increasing as we're coming out of lockdown, and we expect that will go back to normal levels. Through the lockdowns level 4, 3 and 4, there was a reduced number of incidents that came through, but as I previously stated, attending those incidents became reasonably complicated.
Are we continuing with aerial inspections?
The aerial inspections of dairy farms, or are we talking winter grazing? So yeah, we've just finished our aerial inspections of dairy farms, and we will look at aerial inspections of winter grazing and permitted activities in the near future.
Thank you. Do I have anybody else wanting to ask questions or make comment? Yes, David.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a query. I was asked by a farmer just as far as aerial inspections go, Simon, is it fixed wing or helicopter, or because in this situation they had a drone go across their property and they were quite concerned about, I don't know if they've even established who it is at this stage, but it was just a question that came to me.
Okay, so we use a helicopter in this particular occasion. We don't have drones. So that was nice.
Thank you.
I'm told the future of aerial inspection, I'm not talking about us, but the future will be drones rather than using helicopters and fixed wing, because it's cheaper and simpler and more flexible.
Yes.
So I'm sure that we will be considering that in the future.
I'll keep that in mind.
Just as a matter of interest from people engaged in farming, what is the stock reaction to drones at close quarters? Do they get used to them? Do they get spooked? Should they be avoided when they're meeting a cow or something like that? Anyone's had the experience?
Probably beyond our knowledge.
There's some complaints where drones are flowing low after a normal height. I don't think it's a problem, but I think it's a couple of complaints last year where somebody was flying and drone very go, and it made pretty low and makes cattle, and it was enough to stir the limbs. No problem. And just on that smoke one, I think as part of the lockdown, there was because we didn't want firemen having to go out and attend to things, that there was sort of a ban on some of that burning. And I think we're probably seeing now at a time of year when we've got an inversion layer, perhaps more smoke than we normally would have had. Some of that stuff would have normally been done earlier.
Just a comment on the drones. The stock don't like them. They certainly are frightened of them, and that they can be used to muster stock. So obviously in the hands of the farmer, he knows what he's doing. In the hands of somebody else who's observing the farmer's land, that certainly can be an issue to stock that are, particularly on crops where there's only electrical fences to hold them in place. And so stock breakouts can be an issue, and certainly would infuriate the landowner of stock breakouts that occur.
I observed from experience, having been helicopters during a couple of floods, that the stock really do not like helicopters. At any height, they're really loud. But anyway, farmers are still using drones. You see it on television there for mustering and stock monitoring and stock management. So it's interesting to see how that will develop.
So we do operate a certain type of helicopter when we're doing our inspections. It's called a NOTAR, so it doesn't have a rear rotor on, and it's significantly quieter than most other helicopters.
It does have a high-pitched whistle though.
Okay, I have earphones on at a particular time. So,
when you're outside it has a high-pitched whistle from that blower at the back. You can tell the difference. Anyway, thank you for that. Any further discussion? The recommendation at the moment is that the council resolves to note the Environmental Compliance Division report for period ending the 22nd of May. Moved by Councillor McPhail, seconded by Councillor Stevens. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
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 That is carried. Thank you, Simon. Thank you for your very full report. Next item is item 10, extraordinary and urgent business. There isn't any that I'm aware of. Public excluded business, none for this particular meeting. So that concludes the business of the meeting. A new record of 34 minutes. You'll have to think of some more
31.
Yeah.
So thank you for your attention and your attendance and your input.